All right, so the new class Lynn is out. I trained it myself on the first day, got it to level 204, and I have a lot of thoughts about it. So you want to know if this class is trash, if it's really good, or what's the deal here? So I'm gonna let you know. So the first thing we're gonna talk about is the aesthetic of the class, just to get it over with. I know a lot of people care about it. I actually care about aesthetics of classes a lot too. It's a big reason why I play classes. And this class is very well animated. Like, they put a lot of time into the animations, into the voice acting, into the color palette of the class, everything. It's really cool. Your basic attack is this, right? The wolf is more of like your bursty type skills, right? You have the bird that helps you with mobility. You could turn the bird really big, right? So the class does look really nice. If the class looks really nice, then it feels good to play as well, which I think is very important. So right away, that's a big bonus for the class, is it feels good to play because it looks good as well. So the next thing I want to talk about is the class's skills. What does it actually do? What kind of class is this? Maybe this is the first time you've seen it. So this class is a support class, but it also does support in a very different way than most supports. So I'll explain what that means. But for now, let's just go over the skills. You'll notice in your beginner tab, you have something called focus. Focus allows you to target one of your party members, and that party member essentially becomes your partner. And a lot of the buffs that you give are enhanced just on that party member in particular. Now, this class does have party buffs in general, but it really excels at buffing up just one person in your party like a stupid amount. So first job is pretty standard, right? Like, you just have your basic attack, you have your flash jump, and you have focus heal. So what does focus heal do? It basically gives the warrior link skill to people. So what does that mean? If I use focus heal for 40 seconds, I will be recovering 20% max HP every second. You're almost unkillable in this state when you have focus heal on. You could also apply it to your partner as well, so you start to understand what this focus mechanic is. It's a brand new mechanic in the game, essentially. It's kind of like Paladin's Divine Echo. I would say that's like the closest comparison to Lynn. So in second job, you unlock your bird and your basic attack just gets bigger. So the bird sweep is actually really cool. It stacks up to 5 times. It's very similar to Buck's vortex skill, where you could just use it and dash. You could go in pretty much any direction. And the cooldown on it is really short. You see, it already came back up, which gives Lynn a lot of mobility, especially for a mage, which is very interesting. You have Peck, which is just a toggle. It turns the bird on, and what it does is it allows the bird to just target monsters. So you'll see the bird is going to move around on its own like that. So it goes around and just targets monsters, which is pretty cool. It's really good for getting those like straggler mobs that you might have not hit in the wave. The bird will just automatically get them. And you can see it does pretty good damage. Like, it's one-shotting the mobs with almost no funding. And you'll notice that that's a very common thing on Lynn, is that the skills that it has hit super hard, and it's really, really good at mobbing. And it has an up jump. Now, the thing about this up jump is it's not like Lara's up jump where you could keybind it, and if you just press the key, you go up. Now, you have to jump and then up jump. Jump and then up jump. So that's how that up jump works. Third job, you unlock your wolf. So the wolf, just like the bird, is a toggle. But how this toggle works is he only attacks when you're attacking something. It's not like the bird where if you're just standing still, the bird will go around and kill stuff. He only attacks when you're attacking. You also unlocked Earth Pulverization. So Earth Pulverization is a 100% uptime summon that Lynn has. So if we just place it down, you can see that it actually ticks pretty quickly too. It ticks pretty quickly. The hitbox on it isn't too big. Like, for example, it's not hitting these mobs below it. It's more like just like a thin rectangle here. Kind of similar to Evan's Flame Return, but stronger. You also unlock 2 new support skills in third job. So you get Purify, which purifies all your nearby allies. So if you're in your party, it would purify all of them. And it makes it so that they can tank an abnormal status resist up to 5 times every 2 seconds, which is actually pretty crazy, because this means that a rock falling on your head in like Seavel or in Lotus or in Gloom or something, you know, they could just eat it and they won't get the status. You also have Nature's Providence, which gives your entire party 30% IED, just like that. You just give the whole party 30% IED. Very simple. Now, for the focus skill in this job, you get focus support flight. So this allows you to instantly be moved to your focus target, so you can reposition really well. In fourth job, you get your final level of strike, and you get roar, which is a big AoE skill. It does a lot of damage, and it's super good for mobbing and bossing. You get Whirlwind, which is pretty cool, actually. Whirlwind is like its built-in blink. If you press Whirlwind, you could just hold it, and the bird will hold you up in the air for a little bit. You get Support Flight, which is a controversial skill, I guess. Support Flight teleports everybody to you. So let's say somebody's mispositioned. For example, in Black Mage FMA, it's on the left and somebody's on the right. You could just teleport everybody to the left and you'll all be safe. So Predator Blow is a bossing skill that is also a debuff to monsters. If you use it, it makes them more susceptible to damage. So it debuffs the mobs and makes it so that they take 10% additional more damage for 40 seconds. So you would always want to press Predator Blow before your burst because it makes your burst stronger, obviously. So Mother Nature's Touch is pretty cool. It immediately removes all the abnormal status effects from your party and heals everybody to full HP and heals them 10% every second for 30 seconds. So this is like a super party-wide heal, which is insane. This class has a lot of healing. Like if there's a Lynn in your party, you're pretty much never gonna die. To HP, that is. Now, something very important to know about Lynn is each of your spirit guides, each of your animals has a final damage stacking buff. So the bear has a final damage buff, the bird has one, and the wolf has one. And how they work is as long as you're hitting a target, all the final damage buffs will be stacked to the max. So it's not something you have to worry about. It's not like there's a lot of upkeeping of skills. As long as you're hitting your target, the bird is hitting it, the wolf is hitting it, and the bear is hitting it with your main attack, you will be stacking up this final damage and you'll be getting a lot stronger. Now for your hyper skills, you have Raid, which is kind of like a mini burst, and FMA. As you can see, it's like kind of like a big rectangle hitbox and it does really good damage. Or if Destiny, this is just the Maple Adventurer, like 10% damage buff. Every class has this. And then you have Focus Protection. So what's very cool about Focus Protection, it has a super long cooldown, but it makes you essentially invincible. You take 30% less damage when you're in the zone and your whole party, and you cannot get one-shotted in this as well. For example, if you're like in Kalos or something and like the arrows are shooting at you, you could just place this down and your party is pretty much protected, which is pretty sick. You could put down the focus protection and then also put down Mother Nature's Touch and your whole party would just be healing constantly and with damage reduction. So stuff like that, like chip damage, just this class completely negates chip damage. Now, as for the fifth job, this class has a 2-minute burst and 2-minute window. So you have Beast Rage, which is a very short duration big burst. So it fits within Roar, it fits within a bind and a burst window, which is really good. You want short condensed burst. So this is what it looks like. Very simple. It's just a big AoE around you that does a bunch of damage. You have Beak Strike, which makes the bird just really big and buffs it up. So as you're doing your attacks, as the bird is flying around like normal, it's just way stronger. Very simple. You don't have to really worry about it. And you have Nature's Grace, which pretty much heals the party to full instantly. Again, a big heal, and also gives you excess healing. So you can see I have this big fat ass shield now, and this is only at level 1. These skills scale up and give you more healing and more shielding and stuff, and the whole party gets a big shield as well. So not only are you getting a huge heal, you're getting a big shield as well. Now Focus Awaken, this is the skill that most people care about on Lynn. This allows you to buff up your focused target and yourself a huge amount, and it scales with int. So as you level the skill up more and you get stronger, the final damage will increase a lot more. And for one particular target, this is the biggest final damage buff you could add to just one target. Obviously, people will compare it to Bishop's Benediction, for example, that buffs up the whole party at once. But for this skill, it buffs up one member even more potent than just Benediction. So it's super strong for duo bossing, or for something like Culling where there's 2 people in each room, or something like Extreme Lotus that's coming out in the future where you could only up to duo the boss. So Lynn is super good. It's really good at, it scales up really good into the end game as well, which is always a really good thing. It's fun playing a class that's really strong early, but it's good to know that when you reach end game, the class scales properly with the end game as well. So when you press Focus Awaken, there's just like flowers around you, and that's how you know you're super buffed up. And as for Lynn's 6th job, it has a pretty standard big burst explosion type 6th job where it just plays the cutscene and does a huge amount of damage. I really love this cutscene. I think it's one of the coolest cutscenes in in the whole game. And for their mastery, they have their bear boosted, the strike, which obviously just makes it stronger and bigger. So another very important thing about Lynn is its link skill. Its link skill is the exact same as Beast Tamer. It gives you boss, crit rate, and HP MP. So this is a best in slot link skill. If anything, everybody should get this class to level 210 just for the link skill. And its Legion block is IED, which is also best in slot. ID plus 5%, it goes to 6%, I believe, at level 250. So now that we know what Lynn does, I'm going to talk to you guys about the mobbing experience, just getting it to 200, and how I think it'll be in Grandis Plus, because obviously getting a class to 200 isn't too hard nowadays, and the training in the future in Grandis is more important. So the first thing I noticed when I was training is this class hits very hard when mobbing. Like, this strike skill hits really hard. It's not just like a weak ass skill that does no damage. Like, it hits really hard. I was one-shotting with no gear like all the way up to 200, like straight up. And it has a lot of other supporting skills that help you mob. So even the sweep is super good for mobbing. The raid, the FMA, and the roar FMA, you could rotate them. So you essentially have an FMA every 15 seconds. And you have a summon that has 100% uptime. So the class is super, super good at mobbing. And your bird obviously goes around and attacks all the mobs for you. What's really good about that is that when you're in Grandis, and a lot of classes struggle to one-shot when they're low on sack, this class is, since it hits so hard, won't struggle as much to one-shot. Now, your summon probably isn't going to one-shot, obviously, but your main attacking skill will one-shot pretty quickly. That's really ideal when you're training at higher levels. And with Soul Janus coming out, it makes training just free anyways. So I don't see why Lynn's would have any problem training to really high levels. If you're watching this video and it's during the time of the Lynn release, there's this Great Tree Memories event because of Lynn. So you could start this event at level 200 plus. And if you kill 2,000 mobs, it does not have to be on the Lynn. Every single day you could check in and get rewards. Now, after watching this video, hopefully you understand Lynn more. And should you play Lynn? I think at minimum, everybody should get it to level 210, obviously for the link. And if you want to turn it into a boss mule, there is something to keep in mind. Keep in mind that Lynn scales really well into the end game. This skill, this big final damage buff, scales with int as well. So if you're pretty low on int, you're not going to get the full capability of this class. As a boss mule, I don't think it's super favorable. I'm still going to do it anyways, just because I think it's cute. As simple as that. But that is something to keep in mind. If you want to be strictly efficient on your boss mules, this probably isn't the best boss mule to make, even though it is a 2-minute class, which is really good for boss mules. And if you want to main this class, I think it is an excellent main. It is a super good option to have in a party. I don't see why people wouldn't take a Lynn in a party. It definitely has a place. It has really good support, really good final damage buffs for your big carry, and it does enough damage on its own. I'm looking forward to see how many Lynns are going to be in the end game, how many people are going to play it, and whatever Lynn solos are going to come out and stuff like that. But hopefully this video helped you guys out. I don't think I've ever made like a video on a new class showcase type of thing. And if you want to see more of like these types of videos for classes, then please let me know. And I appreciate you guys for watching, and I hope you all have a great rest of your day. Shout out to my amazing members: Blazefire, Shooms, Uju, Shagad, Ravi Espa, Grim 4K, Koga, Pabo, Piconir, and Jesse. I appreciate you guys so much.